Welcome to the JMax Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Maxwell, and today our episode is all about cheat days. Yes. Is this the holy grail of dieting? The day where you get to eat whatever the hell you want and still have effortless results with fat loss? Can this be true? Is what I'm hearing correct right now? You can eat whatever you want in a day and as much food as you want and still lose fat? Well, we're going to find out in today's episode. I remember my first cheat day. I was doing this really intense diet. It was one from Precision Nutrition. It was called the Get Shredded Diet. Essentially, it's a ketogenic diet and you're eating very low calories. I was eating body weight times 10. So at the time I was like, 190 pounds. So 1900 calories per day. No carbs. It was tough. And I did this diet for 2 weeks and then I was ready for the very first cheat day. And you have no idea how excited I was. I was dreaming about this cheat day. I remember I woke up early the day of the cheat day because I was so freaking excited. I just could not sleep. I'm pretty sure up till that day, every time I had a craving for something, I would write it down. And I was like, on my cheat day, I am going to eat this and it is going to be so freaking good. So the day rolled around. I woke up early and I was like, well, I'm so excited, but I'm not hungry yet because I was using intermittent fasting at the time. So I waited until I was hungry because I figured this is the sensible thing to do. And then I went out to the grocery store. First thing I saw, this sounds so crappy, but they're so delicious. There's these packages of glazed donuts that they just sell at the grocery store in like packages of 6. I've always loved them. You can get the powdered ones too, but I love the glazed ones. And I saw those like a week before and I was like, I know today I'm going to eat these freaking donuts. So I ate every single one of those donuts. It was amazing. And then I had, I really wanted a flavored Greek yogurt because that whole diet I was eating just regular Greek yogurt and they had this amazing like luxury flavors of Greek yogurt. I don't remember the exact flavors, but something like key lime pie or something. So I bought that and had that as well because I just really wanted a flavored yogurt. It's weird what you crave. I find when I'm dieting, I crave nut butters a lot. So peanut butter, almond butter. If you're thinking about those other nut butters, get your mind out of the gutter, you dirty bastard. And then I was pretty full. I went and I worked out because you always want to work out on your cheat day. And I don't remember what else I had, but I remember this one thing distinctly. I was living in Toronto at the time and I looked up the best pizza in Toronto. And for like a few days, I was researching this. What is the best pizza in Toronto? And every single thing I came up with, it said there's this little pizza place in the Greek part of town, right by I think it's by Pape Station, Pape and Bloor. And if Bloor goes there. Oh, Pape and Danforth. Doesn't really matter. I went to this pizza place and I was like, I gotta try this pizza. I bought a medium pizza, went to the park down the street and ate it myself. And I got pretty full actually because I wasn't used to eating so much food in a day, so I could only finish half of it, but it was delicious. But the funny thing is, it was like this Greek style pizza, lots of cheese, pepperoni. It was delicious, and it tasted exactly like the pizza place in my hometown of 3,500 people. Now, the pizza place in my hometown, there's 2 pizza places. One of them, this place called Apollo's, as you can probably figure out from the name, is a Greek restaurant. And their pizza tasted exactly the same. So I don't know if it's just the way Greeks make pizza. I've only tasted 2 different pizzas from Greek chefs, and they taste exactly the same. But if that's how they taste, they're pretty good pizza. So I definitely recommend you check that out. But that was my first cheat day. And then later that night, I had another slice of pizza and I couldn't finish it. So what I did was I froze it and then ate it 2 weeks later on my next cheat day. And it was glorious. Now, I'll never forget that cheat day. It's kind of like the first time you hear about 9/11 or the first time you hear about John Kennedy dying, you never forget that first cheat day. You remember it distinctly, especially if it was a good one. And yes, I had a good one. Now, I have another story for you. I had this friend, Matt. Matt was about 5'10". He weighed 210 pounds. And Matt told me, he said, I can diet strictly, no problem. But I need a cheat day once per week on the weekend. So for 6 days, I can do a perfect diet. I can follow it perfectly. I can eat the perfect amount of calories. I can eat the perfect amount of foods. I can be as strict as possible. I could not eat for 6 days if that is what the plan told me to do, as long as I could have a cheat day on the 7th day. On the 7th day, what he would do is he would go and he would eat anything. So for the first 6 days, while he was dieting, he would eat, I think what he was doing was a ketogenic diet, kind of similar to something that I was doing at the time, because those were very popular back at this time. And he would eat meat and vegetables every meal, very strict, measured all his food. Did a great job. He'd lose like 1 to 2 pounds at least in those 6 days. Amazing progress. You could see by his 6th day, you could see he just looked leaner. Then on the 7th day, on his cheat day, Matt would do what I call the seafood diet. You see food, you eat it. And he would literally eat anything. He was like a human garbage disposal. He would, if his kids were eating freaking Cheerios and they couldn't finish it, he would just eat the rest of their Cheerios off their bowl. It wouldn't matter if it was something delicious or not. He would just eat it. He would eat anything. If there was nuts lying around, he'd eat those. If there was peanut butter in the house, he'd have a couple spoonfuls of the peanut butter. It's pretty normal in the fitness industry. But here's where it got weird. He would even eat, he had a baby at the time that they were just starting on baby food, and whatever his baby couldn't finish, he would eat the freaking baby's baby food. Now, this just shows you he would just eat anything. Now, he didn't have a pet, and I'm sure if he did have a pet, maybe he would try the freaking pet food too, but that's always going to be a mystery. So, as you can see, he would just eat everything, and he would eat a lot of it. So he would probably eat like 6,000 to 7,000 calories on his cheat day. And then the next day he'd wake up and he'd be like 5 to 6 pounds heavier just because one cheat day. And this was pretty insane because he would tell me, oh man, it's just all water. Don't worry about it. I'm still making progress. I want to get down to 180. I want to be lean. I want to have a 6-pack. But guess what? It never happened. Yes, some of it was water, but some of it was fat too. So he basically ended up just doing a cycle of dieting for 6 days per week, very strict, and then once per week just having an all-out shit show. And it worked for him via happiness, but he didn't get the results that he wanted, and he wasn't happy about that. Because, yes, you can gain a lot of fat during a cheat day. Especially if you have this incredible, insane cheat day, you gain all this weight, but then you're strict the rest of the week, but then you just cycle it. You lose fat, you gain it. You lose fat, you gain it back. You lose fat, you gain it back every week. 2 years later, guess how much Matt weighed? 210 pounds, 5'10". He did not lose any weight. Why is this? It's because he went too freaking insane on his cheat day. I can guarantee you, if he did that diet but had a cheat day once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, once every 4 weeks, and he means he would end up suffering more, but he wouldn't have so many insane cheat days, and he probably would have lost the weight he wanted. Now, for what I recommend for cheat days is I say only have a cheat day if you really deserve it. This is probably the best approach for using cheat days. So if you're very, very lean and you've been on a super strict diet and you feel like you will die if you do not have a cheat day, well, it's probably time for a cheat day. Now, you don't want to have a cheat day every week if you don't need it. So you have to really, really need it. And you have to basically be going insane, or you need to have a plateau on a very strict diet. With that being said, I think most people can get better results if they just use flexible dieting, where they can have whatever they can eat whatever they want as long as it's tracked, as long as it is compliant with their macros. I think that's a better approach. But for some people, they enjoy being very, very strict for as long as possible and then having an all-out slugfest, fanfare, cheat day. That's fine too. And this video is for you, or this podcast is for you, this episode. Also, holidays are coming up. You probably want to have an incredible meal with your family, which means you might want to take a cheat day. If that's the case, this is for you too. We're going to be talking about damage control, how to properly do a cheat day without absolutely destroying your diet. Now, I've talked about this in the past, but I think if you're going to have an all-out warfare with your cheat day, if you're going to go absolutely insane, absolutely bananas on your cheat day, then this is the approach that you want to use. So I'm going to use this in the context of Christmas because I celebrate Christmas and I really understand it, and many people listening will understand how this works too. So on Christmas, you usually have a huge feast with your family. Late in the afternoon or in the evening, generally that time. So let's say you're going to have your Christmas dinner on the 24th, like I do with my family. So Christmas Eve. So what I would recommend doing is, and I'll probably do this year actually, because I use this method pretty much every year, but it depends how crazy I'm going to be. So if I feel like being crazy this year, this is the method I'm going to use. You wake up and you're going to fast until dinner time. So that means your only meal that day is going to be your feast. Now, if you haven't used fasting before, this might be a little bit of trouble, but it's worth it because you're going to be eating all of your calories for the day in that one huge feast. So the simplest way to do this is to, obviously you're not going to be eating anything until dinner, but you can drink black tea or coffee if you need that caffeine boost. I really recommend, though, drinking sparkling water. Now, some people think sparkling water is gross. I just feel it's an acquired taste. It's not really a taste, it's just the bubbles in your mouth. And if you add a fresh lemon wedge, it makes it a lot easier to go down. Sip on the sparkling water throughout the day. It'll keep you hydrated, but most importantly, the gas in it will help you feel fuller throughout the day. So you're not going to feel as hungry. And this is really important because the hardest thing about fasting is feeling hungry. Next, what you want to do is during your fast or before dinner, sometime you need to have a full body workout that is high volume. Now, the whole point of this workout is to deplete the glycogen in as many muscle groups as possible in your body. The reason we like to do this is because when you eat carbs, if you have depleted glycogen stores in your muscle, then the carbs have a higher chance of being stored as muscle instead of fat. If your glycogen stores are already full, then you have a very low chance of glycogen being stored in the muscles, and they're more than likely going to be stored as fat. Now, this is with an excess of calories. I'm simplifying this, but it's my way of explaining it to you so you can kind of grasp why we're doing this. So you want to go in the gym and have a full body workout that's high volume. You can use a golden age workout here. I think it works really well, 8 sets of 8. So do 8 sets of 8 on each exercise for each muscle group with about 60 seconds rest should be fine. So it's going to be kind of short rest periods and a lot of volume. And that's going to deplete the glycogen stores in the muscle. So when I say full body workout, you're going to do a horizontal push, horizontal pull, vertical push, vertical pull, lower body pull, lower body push, as well as training the arms and the calves. So something simple, let's say you do 8 sets of 8 on all these exercises. Bench press, chest supported row, overhead press, chin up or a lat pull down, if you're not strong enough to do a chin-up. Squat, deadlift, calf raises, bicep curls, and tricep extensions. A lot of exercises is going to be a long and tough workout with a lot of volume, especially when you're fasting. If you're having trouble with this, make sure you sip something like BCAAs during the workout. It'll help you a bit. Maybe have a coffee beforehand if you drink coffee. If you don't drink coffee, maybe half a caffeine pill. You might feel a little lightheaded if you have too much caffeine while fasted, if you're not used to it. So do that workout. It's going to deplete the glycogen. And by the time you eat, you are going to be freaking starving. And the meal you eat is going to go towards building muscle as opposed to getting fat. Because we don't want to, our goal of the cheat day is to allow you to enjoy all your foods and eat as much as you want, but we want to limit the amount of fat that you're going to gain. We're doing damage control here. So as soon as you sit down to eat, you want to first try to fill up on protein and veggies. So lean meats. So if you're having turkey, which you most likely are, go for some more like turkey breast and vegetables. Have that as your first portion. After that, go nuts. Eat whatever you want, whatever you feel like. I recommend only eat things that you find very delicious because you'll be more satisfied. And eat. And don't eat if you feel absolutely too full. Because you don't want to feel sick from this. You just want to really enjoy yourself. So you got to think about this. Am I eating just for the sake of eating? Or am I eating because this is delicious and I really like this feeling in my mouth? I like the feeling of swallowing it and putting it down into my stomach. Now, the reason we start out with the lean protein and vegetables is because that's going to help you feel more full so you don't eat as many calories during this cheat day. Because in the end, if you eat a ton of calories, you're going to gain fat no matter what. But everything we've done here is pretty much the bro science approach to limiting the bad things that can happen from your cheat day. So enjoy your meal. Then the next morning, you have two options. So that day, you can just go back to your original plan, your original nutrition plan, or you can eat via listening to your body. So I kind of like this approach of listening to your body and eating based on whether you're hungry or not. Because a lot of times if you overeat one day, the next day your body is you're just not going to be as hungry. It's your body's method of saying, hey, we ate a little bit too much yesterday. Maybe we should call it a bit quits today and take it easy. So you take it easy if your body is telling you to take it easy. Alternatively, you might be very hungry. Think about this. How is your hunger? Is it normal hunger or is it kind of a pain hunger? If it's kind of a pain hunger, what happened was you overate yesterday and you stretched out your stomach most likely, and you're feeling hungry because your stomach just feels out of loop because it's stretched out. So really listen to your body that way. A lot of times I find if I overeat one day, the next day I'm not going to be hungry until like 4 or 5 p.m. This is fine. Make sure you get your protein and vegetables. That's the most important thing. And then if you want to have a leftover piece of apple pie, have that leftover piece of apple pie and really enjoy it. So the whole point of this cheat day is to allow you to enjoy the holidays. Now, a lot of people, what they're doing is disembulk during the holidays where they're building muscle instead of getting fat. But I realize not everyone wants to do a bulk. Some people want to do a Decem Slim. Screw Decembulk. Let's do Decem Slim. If you're overweight and you don't think that a bulk is for you, well, you can do Decem Slim. So you can diet during December, but it doesn't mean that you need to suffer on your holiday feast, your Christmas dinner if you celebrate it, because you can use this method as cheat day damage control 101, which I just taught you. Now, if you're looking to to do Decem Slim. I don't really have a program for that, but the closest one to that would be the 21-day Body Recomp, which is a 21-day aggressive fat loss approach. And many people, what they do is they end up building muscle in the end because it's very intense. Now, if you want to check that out, just go to www.jmaxfitness.com/21-day-body-recomp. That's where you're going to find that. But keep in mind, when you do have your holiday meal, use these methods that I just taught you in the cheat day, and you're going to get, what are you going to get? You're not going to get fat. You're going to get the results you want. And that's the whole point of today's episode. So guys, I am Jason Maxwell from JMax Fitness, and I'll be talking to you guys next time.